Hello.
Good morning, good afternoon.
Yes. So everybody's going to join today, probably. I think everybody else is listed as optional, right?
Fabian is on PTO, right? Already started.
He might be. I know he's leaving tomorrow, so probably. We can probably get going. You got the first one, John.
Yeah, okay. Let's just get started. Commute left his desk. But anyways, so quickly summarize what I just wrote there. In that doc, pinned distribution and the geo team. Their feedback came back, and I got a feeling that those distribution and the geo can become a long tails. It's just not good news. So I was thinking whether we can drop the support of self-managed, which eliminates the distribution work, and then drop the requirements of geo support. Then the geo is no longer a dependency for this project. So that's where I came from, because I'm worried that both will become a long tail. They cannot start until we say we have basic pieces ready for you to start your work. So I guess our best scenario is August. That's a very, very optimistic best case. So
that's when they can start.
Yes, that's my understanding. August, probably that's the best case they can start thinking about the solution. Mm-hmm. I'm even more worried about distribution. Like DJ said, it can take several milestones. I don't know how many those are. Several. I know how long Prefect took. So it's basically 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is all the context of why I'm asking this question. Do we actually need the support for the self-managed, or for the do we need the distribution work in place, and do we need Geo in place for the first iteration? Maybe we can just scope down to target GitLab.com only.
I believe that this is exactly what we are scoping right now. We are focusing on GitLab.com, not general self-managed. There is a separate issue for the self-managed, which actually gonna be a ton of the work anyway. But the configuration, it needs to be in place. So like we cannot shrink this beyond what we have now, because we are doing already something super minimal, which is like expose ability to configure that. And this is something that infrastructure team needs to perform on GitLab.com. We are not really intending to do anything else at this moment beyond just exposing configuration for the many databases.
Okay, so you let me just confirm that we don't need distribution work to configure the database, or provisioning database, configure the HA. So that can be delayed to the second iteration. We are focusing on the GitLab.com. We are asking the infrastructure team to configure the GitLab.com. Is that?
It's not fully true. We need a way to configure that. So this configuration needs to be set in Omnibus and CNG. To some extent, we can do it on our own, but it will always, in any case, require review, match request, some help from the distribution. We are not really intending to do anything beyond that, which is like things that you mentioned, Chan, but if we don't configure it, will not get configured on GitLab.com, because GitLab.com is the same set of applications, and they require this to be configurable. So this is actually like the focus right now, right? Configuration. It's still not super well described, because we are still like evaluating a way how this configuration should look like. But I guess like in 1 week from now, we will know exactly how we want to design that. Like, don't get me wrong, like it's not really like a lot of work to do it. But at any rate, it's gonna require some help from the distribution team.
Yeah, not only help.
And like the question asked was like, of course we can do it probably twice slower than distribution team. And this is like prerequisite. And for someone from the distribution team, it's maybe like at most 1 week of the work with all the testing, if we give them like the design, how it should be configured, how the settings should look like. So it's about the efficiency. Like we can probably do it, we're gonna need review. But this discussion was like, can we kind of offload that aspect so we could focus on more important aspects? Because it's purely like pass-through type of the setting. You go to GitLab RB, set the database name, and it goes pass-through into database YML. So it's not really like very more involved at this moment. Later, it's probably gonna be a little more involved, because we need to evaluate how the migration is gonna work and things like that. So, but this is not now. This is probably like 1 or 2 months from now, or maybe 3.
Yeah, don't worry about who does it. My plan is to have distribution to do the distribution work, Geo team do the Geo work. So don't worry, I'm not asking this team to do it. Right now, we just need to figure out, are they necessary must to have for the first iteration? Because right now we're being asked how we can parallelize and accelerate or add more confidence to the January timeline. So that's all I'm working on. I'm willing to involve more other teams when it's necessary. So that's where I am.
But I think what Camille is saying, and if I understood correctly, Geo, for example, is not in the critical path for the first iteration. We can engage the Geo team and they can figure out what they need to do, but I don't think we need it in order to be able to deploy the first iteration. So it can be parallelized, but it won't have any impact on the first time to delivery. And for distribution, there is some work that is in the critical path that Camille outlined, and then there are other things that can and have to happen later, very likely, also with regards to self-managed customers. I think this is also true for Geo. It's like if we want self-managed customers handled appropriately, we need to handle these things as well. And this is probably true for backup and restore as well.
Okay. Fabian, with Geo, it's pretty accurate with the one expectation. It's we still need to retain Geo functioning, right, in the org model. And it's
we can't break things, right? It's like
so we may need some engagement from the Geo team to help us with getting this that it continues working in the way how it works. But we may not support Geo yet in the new model. That's probably the main takeaway out of the discussion.
Okay, Geo is not absolutely required for the first iteration, but Omnibus and CNG configuration, that's required in the first iteration.
Yes.
Okay. I'll work with Craig offline about the timeline projection for distribution, when we can start, when we expect to finish. I mean, this will be a discussion between distribution and our team.
I will open an issue specific for the Omnibus about how this should be, let's say, made configurable. And I think the team will be just equipped enough with this design alone, how to translate that into CNG. So
that will help.
So maybe this could be a valid point for you, Chan, to get engaged, because it would give them some perspective, what they have to do, and they will probably be well equipped with translating that into CNG.
That will definitely help. Please, once you have that issue up, I will ping the distribution team to start thinking about it. Okay, I guess it's clear to me. This first bullet, we are cleared here. Any other questions about my question? No, okay. Oh, by the way, is August a reasonable timeline that I tell a distribution that maybe sometime in August, you will be able to start working on that? Is that too optimistic, or?
Configuration aspect?
Yeah, or start the distribution work. They can actually start working on it.
On the configuration, can we speed up
that? Yeah.
Can we do it in the, let's say, in the July?
In July, okay. If that's ready, I will ask them to schedule that as soon as possible.
So, let's maybe look at this issue. Let's see how much work of that, and maybe we could because we have initial database YML configuration. As soon as they contribute a way to configure that, we're gonna be well equipped on iterating on that our own. So the sooner this kind of lands, the better will be for us to iterate on that. Mm-hmm. So I think August, probably we could live with that, but if it can happen faster, I think we would kind of remove another roadblock.
Okay, good. Yeah, I just want to make sure they are not blocked to start. If they are not blocked right now, I'm going to work with them to get it started as soon as possible.
I will open issue with the design. You can discuss the design with the, because I'm out next week, so they could discuss the design with the team. I think we pretty well know how in general this configuration should look like. So I think we will be fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. Okay, bullet 2 is also mine. Basically, repeat the question that popped in the working group meeting this Monday. I see there was a lot of discussions already, but basically the last bullet summary was we don't know what kind of sharding strategy we'll choose following. So this question is basically, we don't know, right?
I think the summary for me is the following: I think it's important that it's clear that we are not pursuing a horizontal sharding strategy right now. We're doing decomposition. That's important. We have not decided on a future sharding strategy, if it's application level horizontal sharding or something else. So the future is uncertain in that regard. But in any case, even if we were to choose horizontal application level sharding, this would not make it more difficult or impossible, I think. On top of it, from a database perspective, it is generally desirable to have smaller tables. So I think Yannis has on his wish list below 100 gigabytes. So this drops 500 gigabytes of data, which is really good. And also, I think I don't know if that's true, but we have relations in the database, so we have to normalize at some point. So I think the concern is not, there shouldn't be a concern really at this point, I think.
Yeah, and to add there, we're always going to have these tables that are going to be needed by multiple shards. The classic one being the users table. Now, if these tables are very small, like we're talking 10, 20 rows, something like that. Let's say application settings, which is one row, that you could replicate through all these shards if you wanted to. But for tables like users, that gets a bit annoying, especially if you have a couple of million. But that's totally fine as long as we don't join on them, use separate queries. It's totally fine to get your customer data from shard A and then say, hey, for these 20 rows that we want to display, get the users from the main database, which is uncharted. That's no problem at all.
Cool, thank you. So I guess we have our answers to that question now.
Yeah, the simple answer to Sid is no, this does not make future sharding whenever we get to that point more difficult.
Okay.
Actually, our practice from last month shows that we actually picking right iteration. This iteration alone is pretty complex to perform, and doing the horizontal sharding would be really disastrous to do. So whatever we do later, it's just gonna be significantly simpler to do because of breaking a lot of these monolith structures already.
Cool. Okay, third is also mine. Just forward looking that one does it make sense to compile a list of the work that can be found out in the future, sometime down the road. I will engage with other teams to get them started once they are unblocked. So Fabian mentions,
my understanding of this was that we kind of talked about what we know already, where we can fan out work, like the distribution piece, geo and backup and restore, which maybe will be fanned out, but are not necessary. I think other than that, if I understood correctly, some things may become more clear once we have the POC green and we can fan it out at that point, but I'm not sure we have enough knowledge beyond what we just discussed to say. The CI team will have to do all of those 15 things and do them now. But Camille, keep me honest here.
Okay.
I would like to answer all these questions, but I think it's too early. I think we are still working on these fundamental blocks. So Chan, I think we will have this answer with more items that are better defined and the scope in the next few weeks until the end of this milestone. So from my perspective, not yet, but I hope that we're gonna have this a stream of the things to fix in the next weeks.
Gotcha. Okay, so
I mean because I think we could focus on that, getting that list. Just the question is, it actually the right moment to do it, and I'm not super convinced, given all the other set of the problems that we need to kind of walk through.
Yeah, Understood. So my point is just basically bring this to everybody's, aware, make everybody aware that we can leverage other teams once we identify those work that can be found out. Identify that, articulate, and Craig and I, we can help to find that out to get other teams commit to those work. So always think about it's not all in the sharding team. We have the whole engineering team available to work on this sharding. Okay, I'm done. Number 4 was from Tong. Do we need to any more discussion needed for this number 4?
I don't believe so at this moment. I think this is something that was put into the appropriate issues and is still being discussed. That's my understanding. But I think this is also maybe an example of there are difficult decisions to make and we need to discuss them. And sometimes that involves also the database team and Yannis and Andreas. And so we are not, I think, at the point where we've unfortunately have answers to all of those questions. And this was one of those discussions, but I think it's captured in issues, so we don't have to do anything here.
Yeah, thank you.
Is this blocking anything, or is this a future discussion? Like, are we waiting on a decision here before we can move forward?
No, I think we are at the point that this is not blocking and we can continue our work. It's still like, it's still the things that like we need to figure out how to deal. But the main problem right now is like we are dealing with a lot of uncertainty around different aspects. So it's really hard to like provide a golden solution.
Yeah.
This amount of the uncertainty. So that's why like I guess like split and conquer or something like that to figure out like how to tackle these smaller items.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Okay. Last one, Camille, enjoy your time off. Do you have a plan?
Yes, I'm actually going to running camp for the whole week.
Running camp? Ooh. You run every day.
That doesn't sound like vacation to me.
It's actually the best vacation that I could get right now. It's
awesome.
Out of the computer. I'm not gonna have time to sit in front of the computer. That's the difference.
Good.
I will say that now. To sit in front of the computer.
You say that now, but you know 2 days in, you're going to be sitting behind a computer.
I was on the one like last year, and like it's pretty refreshing. Like I actually like had 3 trainings a day, like in the morning before breakfast, before the lunch, and before the dinner. So it was pretty intense, but like not too intense. So.
And I'm surprised. This is like my usual day-to-day, of course, right? So, so sounds excellent. Sounds very very fun to focus on something that has nothing to do with
sharding.
Yeah.
Well, your marathon is sharded into 3 pieces every day.
Yes. Cool.
Thank you.
On the note of people being away, I'm flying to the US tomorrow. So I will be likely mostly out on Friday, but then I'll be on US time zones. So it's going to be, well, like the perspective may vary. I'll have more time with overlap with Yujun and Craig, and not as much with Yannis, Jörg, and Camille. So maybe that's good for everyone.
Oh, by the way, before everybody goes, so there will be a meeting at 8 a.m. today to review my proposal with Eric. Basically, I proposed that we want more SREs, but really the infrastructure pushed back. They cannot do that. So compromise the plan is that they have reserved capacity in Q3. And we have Nick and Jose to work together with us to break down the SRE work and also generate the requirements. that's the requirements, right? That's the plan right now. If anyone wants to join that meeting, let me know. I will invite you. It's basically review with Eric. To be honest, I'm not too confident on this compromise plan to either boost the confidence level of the January timeline, or even better, pull the timeline forward. I'm not confident on this plan because all the SREs are part-time on this, so they are not committed to sharding. But we do need, from what I heard, we do need a lot of their attention on this project.
So I asked Dylan to create the readiness review issue with SRE, and I'm going to talk to Brent here shortly about it, so that'll give them more context. We may have used the wrong template because they have two. We picked one, but it's okay. We can get the, we'll have more information to SRE shortly. And yeah, we'll just keep iterating with them and get the confidence level higher.
But correct me if I'm wrong. My understanding is that the team actually has what they need right now with the support given the state of the project. I think we know that we will need more support at a future point in time. But I think the concern, or the main question is, will we be able to do this by October if we add more SREs? And I thought the answer to this was essentially no. And so having support is obviously extremely important, but I think I don't think it will accelerate the delivery of this project significantly. I think the main worry that I would have is that if we need more support, we will be blocked because we don't get it, and then you stall out, right? But that's obviously a risk, but I don't see that happening at this moment in time from their engagement.
Okay, so right now the goal is add more confidence of the end of January timeline we projected roughly. I described it as 50% confidence to deliver the first iteration by end of January. And now,
so we're no longer talking about October.
Yeah, no longer talking about October. What I'm asking is, add more people. Our current projection without more people is end of January. The confidence level is 50%. I'm asking for more SRE so that we have a higher confidence level, like say 75%, if we get three more SREs dedicated on our project.
I see. Okay, I misunderstood that.
I don't think it was well communicated out that timeline. I think Chen and I knew it, and we hadn't banded out that October is off the table, and we're just looking for ways to increase confidence and potentially bring in the timeline. So
I see. Okay.
Are you
I don't think we're blocked on anything on SRE, and Nick has the ability to provision environments for us if we need to, and he is dedicated to the sharding group to a certain degree. So we're in a better spot, but to Fabian's point, I agree. I don't think we're waiting on anything for SRE right now, but we do need more confidence in their ability to just jump in and help us when we need it. And we need to provide more information to them on when we need that help. So there's still some communication going on. Sorry, Camille, I cut you off.
Oh, I think you are correct. Like, it would be welcome to have person, but like if we not have like for another month, I think nothing terrible will happen because of that. Just there is like a lot of planning ahead on the SRE work, and the sooner they start doing that, the better and better organized it will be done. But like I think like it's still like we still have this problem with the high uncertainty on a lot of things. We are still like iterating on how to configure on the models, on the way to manage that. So that may be creating a little of the chaos because of this high uncertainty that we are now dealing with.
How about this? We are at the time. I'll add Camille and Fabian to that meeting. If you cannot join, that's fine, totally fine. But I will add you to the meeting. If you can join, please join so we can get a full context to Eric, because right now Eric doesn't have the full context. I don't think he has that. So we want to present the full picture to him. I will try my best to describe, but if you can join that meeting, welcome.
I'm like,
Yeah, drop off.
If it's possible, I would likely skip